Buju, uh, Waasumockwe, Indigenous Waasumockwe Dude, Tremendousing Nindujaba. That's a traditional Ojibwe greeting. I said my name, hello, Buju is greetings. My name is, she comes with the lightning. That's, it's a longer word than I used because it's a story instead of the term lightning woman. No, it's a story. She comes with the lightning. So that's the way that I was taught to express that part of my introduction. Tremendousing, I grew up on the east side of Isle, Minnesota, which is the southeast corner of Mille Lacs Lake and one of the districts, District 2 of the Mille Lacs Reservation. I grew up in that town of Isle, which is a tiny town, and our reservation probably had 8 families, so maybe 40 people there. The town itself had maybe 500 that stayed year-round, but being on the lake, it would grow tremendously in the summertime and like during ice fishing events and snowmobiling, that kind of thing. The town was predominantly non-native, so my 8-family village was surrounded by people that weren't like us. Telling that part of my story kind of sets the preface that we were discriminated against. We had to work harder to be noticed, kind of. You know, it was easy to fall into the shadows, which I did. I was actually happy there. I'm actually happy there now. I'm a super introvert, so this is terrifying for me. I'm 51 now, so looking back on those times, I still see the town hasn't changed much. The people that I went to school with we grew up and we have now our own children and grandchildren, and not much has changed with the community. There are more programs for Natives. There are more events and acceptance, but I still, being from Brainerd now, going back to that, I still get the attitude, the following around in the store type thing, like suspicious, like I'm gonna steal. It's kind of insulting, and so I'll make comments about it. And that's Isle. That's a smaller town. Well, you come to Brainerd. We moved to Brainerd because I saw that my children were going through the same racial things at school. So we move out of the area thinking, okay, change location. I'm not fighting with the next generation of people. And I just thought it was a fresh start. We came up here and we found some families that were from our area. We kind of knew some of the same people. And we saw some families that are excelling in Brainerd School District and working in the community. And I thought, okay, that's wonderful. Being uneducated at the time, I took a job at a thrift store and got to know some people in downtown Brainerd. That is where some of the realest, generous, just open and warm, welcoming people that I could have ever met, and I cherish their friendships to this day. Their children are not in school with mine. I've graduated 3 children from the Brainerd School District, and I have 2 nephews now living with me. My most recent nephew joined my family in January. The day he started school at Brainerd High School, somebody yells out a slur like, "Did they finally let you leave the res?" And he, coming from a tribal school, wasn't used to that, so he got upset. And I saw discipline starting all over again, the same way that I experienced and my older children experienced the same thing. The staff and the teachers and administration in certain school districts don't call out that behavior. They don't even notice it until we respond. A student, you're already a minor, you're already put down, and you kind of understand your role almost. And when those microaggressions happen constantly, it builds up. If you don't let that out, it will come out on its own. Well, my nephew had they had an assembly at the school, and the same student that's been harassing him was with his friends and was like calling him names and savage and just derogatory things. And my nephew snapped and threatened him, asked him to step outside and fight. That's what administration heard. And so you're new in school. We don't know how you react when you're angry or provoked. So they saw that as a threat and called the police. He's not even there a month, and this is already going on. And so he finishes out the semester. And I got to say, my son, because he was an athlete, because he was outspoken and handsome and had a bunch of friends, he did well in Brainerd High School. The rest of my children had to go to Brainerd AEC, the Area Learning Center, because it's quieter. The teachers are more on top of negative behavior like that. They call that out, and they're trying harder, is the way that I see it. My daughters graduated from there with the Brainerd High School diploma and left the area. They don't live here. All the work that I'm trying to do with equity and inclusion is already, I couldn't prevent it for my younger children. So watching that happen again, like history repeating itself, it's like, okay, we need to figure out a way to work towards equity and inclusion from a lens where we're taking off those blinders. And I see that some people in my shoes that are more on the activist type side, against oppression and trying to raise awareness, we're being met with hostility sometimes. And I think if we have allies instead of confronting, this might be a better way to work together. That's kind of my goal. I can't imagine that this is, it would be shocking for it was shocking to some of my friends to learn that still goes on. They can't imagine that in the school that they saw their kids flourish at, that there was some Native students, some colored students, somebody that looked different than the majority of the students are being made to feel inferior, they're being threatened, they're ignored by staff. And like I said, that unequal discipline it was shocking to them. I couldn't believe that they didn't know. And it's like, okay, does everybody turn a blind eye to that? Because if somebody's calling out in a room a racial slur, everybody hears that and nobody says anything. So that's where me as a member of the American Indian Parent Committee in Brainerd, we would like to offer the school board and the administration some training. The thing is that some of those trainings are voluntary, not mandatory. They're not career development. They're more They're offered instead of walk through, where admin will take those courses, but not the teachers, not the ones that are in those spaces with our youth that could be advocating for them, or at least calling out that behavior and enforcing the rules. If you're going to enforce the rules, don't just enforce the disciplinary ones. Find out why those actions, those outbursts are happening. It's not unprovoked. And that was one of my main messages when I addressed the school board. I just need to, I made it a personal, almost crusade to kind of get into the habit of addressing people in a public format. I'm a very, very private person, but this is an issue that I can't stand by. If I don't do it, who will? I don't see a lot of other people stepping up. When I asked for additional volunteers, everybody had reasons why not. And the distrust is there. The history with Anishinaabe or American Indians in school systems, that's a whole nother interview. But I'm just saying that intergenerational trauma is real. My mother was in a boarding school, and I didn't know that those effects, not learning my language when I was growing up, not attending powwows because they were illegal when she was growing up, the harsh punishment that she received for practicing her culture's praying in her own way. Yeah, that was corrected. Some of the things that are being brought up now because of the boarding school healing era are painful. To think that my mom at 4 or 5 years old being ripped away from her family and endured everything that she did, no wonder she couldn't parent the way that our ancestors parented the tribe, the youth in the community. She was separated. She felt separated. And I remember growing up, if we had a problem, the first thing is we got to figure it out ourselves because we can't count on anybody. That's not our community teachings. Our community teachings in an Anishinaabe Ojibwe family is that everybody works together for the common good of everybody. If somebody's lacking something, and somebody else has access, we're going to share that. The same thing with parenting and being present for each other's children. There was aunts and uncles around during the daytime, but at night my mom liked to drink. And so that numbing and self-medicating and the dangerous behaviors that she engaged in, I swore that I wouldn't do. I sure as hell did. I swore that I wouldn't drink. I wouldn't drink in front of my kids. I wouldn't let anybody beat me after witnessing that. And it's a cycle. And now that I have been free from drugs and alcohol for 13 years, I can look back and see where I was missing guidance and nurturing, and where that path brought me to the comfort of alcohol and drugs. So knowing that there's another way was crucial for me. I had to take a really hard look at myself, a blameless look at blaming not blaming anybody else, an honest look at what I was doing, my actions, not where it came from, not how it started, not victim stance pouring me. I had to, if I want to change, it was going to come from me. So I moved away from Isle and my family and my community, and I came up here and I made my own healthy support system. Those are my rocks. Anytime I ever need to vent or share information, whether even it's sorrowful or celebratory, they don't come to my cultural events. They're worried that they're going to do something wrong, and I can't reassure them by myself that if you come with me, I can teach you that it's okay to not know, but you're here to learn, and you're open to listen. And I saw it today at Central Lakes College. I was with my cousin. She was doing a presentation on our jingle dress custom. And at the end, she invited the crowd to come up on stage and sidestep with the presenters. And I went up there, and the people from the audience that went up there were not scared to step wrong. They weren't scared that they weren't going to do it right or who was watching them. And it was so refreshing to see somebody go for it, just go for it. The music moved them. They had to get up and come with. And I thought that was it was overwhelming. I could see my cousin standing off to the side, and she was like, just wow. So there's some things in there where I see culture coming in. It is Native American Heritage Month, so I'm going to be celebrating all month long. And I hope that doing events like this, bringing awareness to spaces like Central Lakes College, and even the school district will ask if that might be permissible. These are steps that I'm willing to take. I'm willing to help coordinate, willing to ask for help and offer help, just to keep this ball rolling, because it's not going to be just me, but I can bring people with. Being part of the Central Lakes College community, I'm a student. I'm going to school for human services so that I'm able to connect clients and people in need to resources. That's one of my main goals. I use those skills daily anyways in my work. I'm the scholarship coordinator for Mille Lacs Band, and I help students they come to me when they graduate from high school and start trying to figure out financial aid and FAFSA and the degree programming and what school do I even go to. I don't know what to even study sometimes. And so I try to assist with okay, slow down, one thing at a time. Education doesn't go anywhere. It will wait for you. Let's figure this out. Let's not rush into something that you're going to hate going to school for. Let's find out your passions first. So we'll do some assessments, and I will do my best to guide them towards something that they can work in a field that will be meaningful to them. And it's also me being 51, a 51-year-old student, shows my children that even though we've come through some challenges in our life, we can still work towards our goals. And when you surround yourself with people that are on those same missions, some of that distasteful things in the background aren't so prevalent. It could be with the age too, but it doesn't affect me as much. I hear microaggressions like she speaks so eloquently, or I didn't expect her to sound like that. And I'll say even, when I work, because I work for the tribe and I work with my tribal members, I'm in Brainerd in my professional voice right now. If I'm around them, I do sound more resi. And that's just my relating to people and wearing different hats and needing to level the playing field, because I never want to seem superior to people. That I don't think generates trust or relationship building. So that's important to me.